Hello, everybody. Guess what this is? Dr. Pepper, always.
Always. Mine is Coke because it was just that kind of day.
That kind of day. How do you decide between Coke and Dr. Pepper?
Just my taste buds decide for me.
That's incredible. I wish mine did that.
You just like, yep. I like 4C Coke.
If you're watching with us, let's all make that sound together.
Just like,
All right, well, I'm Jarrett. This is Becca. We work here in the student ministry, and I'm saying this because I know we have some visitors watching, so I want to
Oh.
introduce us. Like, I know we have some fifth graders who are coming into the ministry. I talked to at least 3 this morning who are coming. So if you guys are watching,
dang.
I'm so glad you're here. You chose the right thing to do tonight. We're going to have fun. So thank you for coming. What was I supposed to mention next? Trying to think. So one thing we are doing that's coming up, we are looking into doing, what should we call it? Back to school blast is what we labeled it, which is going to be
Just now.
yeah, like right just now. So an in-person event here on church property that is happening right before school starts, which is right around the corner. Like, it is here and it is upon us, right?
Around every corner. So that's like a 90s worship song.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. So
Super old. No one knows
yeah,
that. Let's move on.
And if I don't know it, it's old.
Wow. Okay.
So, so we're gonna do that. It's gonna be fun. It will be here on church property, and we will play games together. We will. We can have food at this thing.
I feel like we should. I think it's like our constitutional right to like provide food and to eat food together.
Wow, constitutional rights. We're getting political today. Yeah. So
That's how
let us
strongly I feel about it.
let us know. Let us know what you want to like eat at this thing, because we're gonna have to get a lot of it, and then you should literally message us on Instagram what you want to eat at this thing, and make sure it's not like chicken parm or fettuccine or something that's hard to make in large
Or
quantities.
It could be. And we could just go all out and treat yourself.
Oh my goodness. Or we could do that. Let
Or
us
we could do
know.
that.
Let us know what you want to eat. We will see about what we can do. But we're going to do that. We're going to have fun because I'm dying to see you all.
So when is this again?
This is it's the 21st
Yes.
of August, which is 3 days before school starts for most of you, on the 24th online. So, 21st, I'm blanking on what day this was.
A Friday.
It's a Friday. That's right. I will let you guys know 3 days before that, on the 18th, we're doing a 6th grade blast for the upcoming 5th graders who we are going to get to bring into our ministry. And it's their first time, and I'm super excited to welcome them in. They're a good group of young people, and we're going to bring them into our ministry. I'm sad. The kids' ministry is sad to see them go, but we are happy to bring them in. I'm looking at Lauren right here off camera. All right, so yeah, again, if you're one of those 5th graders rising up 6th grader, I'm so glad you are here. Again, my name's Jarrett, and that's Becca, and we're
Hello.
going to meet you really soon. We'll see you at the 6th grade blast on the 18th. So what are we doing right now? We're going to do something that's slightly embarrassing for both of us,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
think.
So this is a little segment called Explain That Instagram, but it's more like Explain That Social Media because Lauren, our co-host over here, that's off camera.
Off-screen host, producer. She's our producer.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
I have asked her to pick multiple pictures off of my Instagram and Facebook profile and Jarrett's Instagram and Facebook profile, but like she dug deep, like
Goodness.
in the depths of our social media. Like, so for me, I've had Facebook since like I was in 8th grade,
Me
I
too.
think. And so so sometimes like memories will pop up and it was like pre-braces and I'm like trying to look cute and I'm like I like just started wearing makeup and so the eyeliner was like super thick because everyone did that. And so
I didn't grow out of my baby face till last week, so
last week.
here we are. This will be fun.
And so what we're going to do, and Lauren has chosen these photos, we don't know. And so we're going to pop each photo up, and we are going to be surprised at it and have to explain what's happening in this photo, what we're doing, how old we are, if we remember.
Honestly, I'm hoping I do remember this stuff. I have no idea what's coming, so who's
this
first?
is just for your entertainment, and I mean it's kind of fun to go down memory lane sometimes, but I don't know. I think Jack
Other
can
times
just
it's
decide
not
who's
fun,
first.
and based off of Lauren's laughter, this is not going to be fun.
I'm a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous too.
I'm just nervous for Facebook because that's 8th grade,
8th grade.
and Instagram doesn't go back that far. It has some some embarrassing pictures, but I'm proud of all of them
Okay.
because I embrace the
Okay, so it looks
embarrassment.
like the first one's up,
Oh.
and that's definitely not me.
That's me.
Okay, so this is Becca. She's in a green shirt.
Oh,
Looks like
man.
you're out at something. What do you
So,
got?
This is so funny, and I'm not even like embarrassed of this because this is so great. Oh my gosh. The side purse is what's getting me. Those were so in. This was
Purses are a thing of the past, I feel like. I don't know. I'm not a woman.
I love how you had an opinion on that. Purses, let's talk. So I don't remember how 10th or 11th grade, mate. I don't even want to say I'm in 11th because I don't want to be. I want to be like, oh, I was young
Yeah,
and
we're
I
looking
did
for
that.
factually accurate.
Yeah,
here.
I was high school. I wasn't a senior. I was probably like 10th grade. I think let's go there. But this was at our fall festival. We did like a trunk or treat in this really big parking lot. And me and this girl that helped like do music on Sundays and like led worship, we decided to go as Sundrop twins. So does anybody remember the drink Sundrop?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that still a thing?
Yeah, absolutely, but it's hard to find.
Okay, it's literally just like Sprite or Mountain Dew. I feel
Mhm.
like it's nothing even new. But there's the commercial. I think the song that was always in the commercial was "Drop It Like It's Hot" or something like "Drop It Like It's Hot." And there was always someone like dancing. I don't know if y'all can even see me right now, but so me and her decided to dress up. So we have like leg warmers on and like tights under our shorts, and we literally found, this is so janky, we got a Mountain Dew shirt and we taped over it. We wrote Sundrop on it.
Wow.
And then why did I have that purse on? I don't know, because I didn't know what else to do with it. Probably I have probably a snow cone in my hand, but yeah.
Where is this purse at?
You see?
Like, where is it right now?
Oh my gosh. It might be at my mom's house in Alabama somewhere.
So are you
Somewhere
at like a
hidden.
fair here? I missed
No,
that part.
Church Fall Festival.
Church Fall Festival.
And it was like a big trunk or treat. And there was this little area with music, and like some people from our church would go dancing like in that little square. And so
You danced to church?
yeah.
Awesome.
So that's this story. I have braces.
2011.
2011. What's the month? I'm doing the
Nice.
Cupid shuffle is what I captioned it. Oh
Fantastic.
man. So that means I was a junior. Yeah, that's my junior. Oh, that was my junior year. All right.
Junior year. Okay, I'm next. Okay. Well, this is a picture of me with my OG dog, Samson.
So cute.
Samson is awesome. He turned 6 on Thursday. 6 years old, which makes him 42. In
Which
human
makes him
years.
42
in human years, and he acts it sometimes. I got to see Sam last weekend at my brother's wedding, and he's put some pounds on since this
Aw.
picture was taken. This was in 2015, 2016 in the fall. I went through this phase 2016, so this is like my sophomore year of college, and I went through a phase of wearing long sleeve polo tees because they were in style for maybe a month, and I tried to keep it going for a little too long, and I just got a text that says Sammy is watching right now.
Aw,
So,
that's so cute.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Sammy.
he's a good boy. He's a 90-pound lab. We think he has some husky in him. So
Oh.
he's a big dude. He's got some serious girth on his in his, what do you call it, chest.
Mm-hmm.
He is awesome, extremely loyal. One thing we can never fix with him was his walking habits. He pulls and tugs, and he is
Oh,
extremely strong. He's
Sammy.
extremely strong. What's my caption for it? We took a picture with the ceiling fan. That's the caption for this photo. If you can still see it, we
Wait.
took a picture. And if you're wondering how we took the picture, my little brother Jace had gotten a gift, being a selfie stick, and I had to test it out. And Sammy's pretty photogenic.
So if this was like 2016,
Uh-huh.
so you're like 19.
Sophomore year of college. I must have been home for winter break. Again, the up in Kansas we have a thing called winter, and it snows sometimes, which is this white stuff that falls from the ground. Okay, so I would wear long sleeve tees, and that was kind of my jam. My favorite thing about Sammy is his everything.
Me with my
I really
dog.
like his. I do like his ears and his little eyebrows. He's got these two little yellow dots above his eyes. It was funny. We picked him out, and all my friends in high school was when we got him. All my friends were there when we picked him out. It was kind of cool. So, he's the man. He's awesome. But he was a puppy for like 3 weeks versus my puppy now, who is still a puppy, and she's like
Still a
4 months old. So, yeah, Sammy's awesome. He's a dude. And also, that was back when I had no clue what I was doing with my beard. It was still fresh there. I had like this weird chin strap going on. It was just bad. Here it is. I could have done better, and I apologize to all those who knew me back in 2016. I could have done better.
It's like a goatee, but also
It's like a
with-
goatee that follows
like,
my jawline.
wings. Yeah.
It's like a goatee with wings.
Yeah.
That's what Rebecca said. All right, that's me. That's me.
Solid
We live and
picture.
learn. We go through phases, and we change. Next
Praise
picture.
Praise hands. Oh, that's a senior picture.
Oh my goodness.
But that's one of my least favorite ones, and so thank you for somehow choosing that one.
And this is a senior picture that looks like it's from the 90s, but it is not.
Yeah. Oh, it just looks like I'm trying too hard. But the thing about pictures, if you've ever got pictures done, they tell you what to. Why did I just look up at the ceiling? I looked up like I'm talking to someone up there. But they tell you what to do and what faces to make, and so it looks like I'm just trying too hard. But they are making me do this. But yeah, this was like a senior picture. And fun fact, not really fun fact, but. I didn't actually get my senior pictures until after I graduated because I wanted to wait till I got my braces off, and I got them. So I graduated in May, and I got them off like a few weeks later, or like June. And so then I got these like in the summer after I graduated.
It's kind of a
But-
bummer. A lot of seniors didn't have senior pictures this year.
I know. I looked like
Natalie Grant. These kids don't know who Natalie Grant is.
Natalie Grant's an OG.
Yes, she is.
I wish I kind of see it in the face a little bit. If I had blonde hair, I'd look a little bit like Natalie Grant. Natalie, if you're out there, let's collab.
Yeah, Natalie Grant's
Let's sing
watching
together.
this. That's awesome.
Oh, I love her.
Speaking of Christian singers, Christy Knuckles, if you know her, she sings the Hosanna song, which again is a song they probably don't know. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? Christy
Yeah, I
Knuckles.
know.
She went to my college, OBU. It's a little small town, Shawnee,
Cool.
America, in Oklahoma. She went to my college, but that's not
That's
Natalie Grant.
interesting.
So yeah, take with that what you will. What's the next picture? Here we go. Oh yeah. Okay.
Baby
Okay.
Jarrett.
Okay. So we've got history here. Yeah, that's baby Jarrett for sure. Couldn't even grow anything on my face at that point,
How old are you?
other than a pimple.
Me
How old am I?
today.
I've got to be like, 14, 15, something like that.
Or was this last week before your baby face went away?
There's no way to know. What I do know is that this is sometime my sophomore year of high school, because When I got into the fall of my sophomore year, I went like in 1 week I was one person, and then the other week I was next. Not because that's when I got saved. That was when I was 7. Because I got my braces off, and then I got
7?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Wrong story. Sorry.
I came to the Lord at age 7.
Okay.
It's a good story. Ask me about it sometime. So I got my braces off 1 week, and then the same week I chopped off a ton of hair. I had hair like it would grow down to here, all the way around, and then just curl for days. That was my hair. Like very much the Bieber cut, I think they used to call it.
Yeah,
So
the swoosh.
yeah, I totally had that going on. Actually, like most of my friends had that going on, and so this is sometime after. This is the summer after I finally started doing my hair, which did not today, thankfully. So this is actually at a VBS. This guy behind me, his name is Nathan. He's like my best friend of all time. He actually just texted me like 10 seconds ago. Got to see him last weekend at the wedding. And we're doing a VBS. I want to say this is like a carnival theme or a circus theme. If I could see the actual like VBSs, I would be able to tell you which one this is. Man, what is it? Because he's wearing that bow tie. That's the giveaway. So since I was like a 6th grader all the way through senior of high school, we were like the band for the VBS. And guys, we were so good. We were so good. Like from day one. We would do dances. We would do raps. Yes, we would do raps. Yes. What is it, Jack? Do you know? Colossal Coaster World. That's what it is. Hey, I will always sign up for VBS. Count me in. VBS is this. Oh, I'll rap at VBS, no problem. I will do it. Sign me up. So we were the band literally since 6th grade till I graduated high school. We were too good. And we would have a blast with it. But you guys know as much as me, VBS gets exhausting. And yeah, that's my best dude, Nate, behind me. So yeah, bunch of history behind there. That's VBS for you, though. VBS is historical each and every year. 100%. Okay, what's the next pick? Also, we got lights today.
Oh,
Hope you
man.
like those. All right,
All right.
here's a pic of our favorite.
This is funny. But don't I look, I'm slaying though, aren't I? Yeah, so at a church, my old church in Alabama, I was little here too. Sophomore probably. 2014.
2014.
That was the throwback picture. I wasn't graduated. I was definitely in high school. I must have posted as a throwback. But I think I was like a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school. And so my old church used to do this, actually pretty cool. They would do this modesty fashion show. And so we would like go around and we would like partner with some like boutiques in the area and like get some clothes from them. And basically like modest clothes, because the whole thing was kind of just like teaching young girls and even like older girls and women like, hey, you can look super cute and be modest at the same time. And so, which is really cool to
That's good advice.
Yeah, to teach that. And so but it was so funny because we would legit have like routines. And so she would like bring the girl that was in charge, she'd like bring someone in and we would like pick songs and like, oh man. So like some of them I'm just like thinking in my mind because they would each have like themes. And so like I remember one of them, there was like the stage and they like built a stage that would literally like go out and that we would walk on.
Like a runway?
Yeah, like a runway.
Shoot.
And I just remember, like, there'd be 4 people for like a route. Sometimes this would be like one routine, and you walk to the beat, and they would, I can't do it, but they would like walk and then like crisscross, and then like do that again. and and so it was super fun though because it was like intense. We'd have like practices like super late at night, and like the lady who did it was like a hairdresser, and so she had like brought in some makeup people and did our makeup and like hair people, and so I was a model for a day. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And
I've never
that's-
been a model. Never have been.
Well, if anybody ever wants to look into it,
I've
come
already
see me. I can help you
so
with your walk.
Carrie just texted us and said that I have volunteered for VBS, so there's that. Yeah, I'll put it down on the calendar, but I'm not volunteering to be a model. Not today.
I will.
Ask me another time. Okay,
Always.
what do we got next? Bring it on. Okay, it's this dude again. That's Nathan, my dude. This is at an airport, KCI Airport in Kansas City International. It's in Kansas City, and we are flying to Nicaragua, I believe. I've been there 7 times on mission trips, and each time is amazing. And we decided to go into this store and try sunglasses on and be dumb. So that's us. I'll show you a picture. We still take dumb pictures. As of 2 days ago, I'm gonna
Wait,
walk
this one
straight
you
up
had
to this camera.
The swoosh, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I still had the swoosh. Still had that going on. I'm gonna walk up and show you guys. Like, we're still taking dumb pics. You can see this. I don't know if it's focused or not, but yeah. And this was 2020, so we still take dumb pics together. That was on our way to Nicaragua, probably freshman year, honestly. You can, if you look close enough, if it's still on the screen, you can see what do you call those? Shell necklaces with the shark tooth. What?
Oh no.
Yeah. Totally had a shell necklace.
Yeah.
It's poking out here, and it had a shark tooth on it, completely fake. So that
Completely fake.
lots of dudes go through that phase, and I, without shame, went through it when I was 15, 14 years old.
I thought it was an undershirt.
No, it was
Shell
not.
necklace.
It was it was a necklace. And let's see. Yeah, that's in the Kansas City International Airport. It is the ugliest airport you've ever been in. Honestly, it's bad. Like, you don't want to fly through Kansas City. It's like once you go through security, there is nothing there except chairs and your gate. Like, there's no, like, at Houston Hobby, there's a food court, there's Whataburger, there's everything in there. At KCI, don't go through security until the last second, because you're stuck and there's nothing to do except wait in a very uncomfortably compact spot, okay? So don't fly through Kansas City. Fly somewhere else and then drive to Kansas City, because it is a good place. Happy to grow up there. But Kansas City is bad. That was our last one. Okay. Yeah, those are old. What
times.
I don't think that's on my Instagram. I don't think any of those were on my Instagram. One of the Sam one, my dog, he was on Instagram. I need to go through my Instagram. My goodness.
Oh.
You went through my tagged photos on
sneaky.
Instagram. That
Tag-
is sneaky. My
Tag
goodness.
photos are like off limits because they're not yours. You didn't post those. You just like, and you don't always even know what photos you're tagged in.
Truth.
You just like go
Truth.
through your photos and you're like, what? When was this? The other day. Oh my gosh. I have like some of my childhood friends. She texted me these pictures the other day. They were like actual photos that were like printed, and she like took a picture with her phone and sent it to me that way. But we were so young. I showed Lauren and I was like, oh my gosh, because I thought we had like met in middle school, but we had to have been like 5th grade. But we went to this like go kart track, and it also had a little like water thing, and we did this water thing. We got really wet, and I had like pigtails in my hair, like on the side of my head, and there's such embarrassing picture because we're like running to get on the go-karts, and there's this picture of me literally going like this, and I'm with like pigtails. So like picture pigtails, and I'm like
Wow.
running like what? And because I'm just like trying to get to the fastest go-kart, because that's what I would do. I would watch to see which one's the fastest, because they're not all the same. Some are slower than others, and I'm about to win. And because I was like born for Fast and Furious, let's keep that
Born
in
for
mind.
Fast and Furious.
And
Okay.
so I'd watch to see which one was the fastest, and then I'm like running to get there.
Okay.
But-
Well, I've got something of my own. If you look here, this is a picture of somebody in some kind of hair. And then if you slide over here, we see Lauren
Is this a picture of
Zakari.
Lauren?
So she's in some kind of reindeer costume. So you're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to come over here and explain this to me. Don't know what to do this summer? Question
That's
mark.
hilarious.
Love working with kids? Question mark. This is
Okay.
a good.
Honestly, that. Oh my gosh, you're killing me, Jarrett.
This is a I'm pretty sure it's a reindeer
it's
costume.
a squirrel costume.
You guys.
First off,
Is
that's
this
the
in
first
focus?
thing. Is it squirrel? Second,
Come closer.
why?
That's Lauren.
It's a squirrel costume, and we were doing an impromptu dance night at camp,
Uh-huh.
and it was my first time doing it, and they said, Lauren, go be a squirrel. Here's a mic, improv. And I said, no, thank you. And they said, no, here you go. And so that's what happened there. I think I was just finished my freshman year in college.
Oh wow.
So that was
DBU?
actually fun time. That was 4 months after your Nicaragua picture was taken.
Oh wow, that's a really good memory. You just bumped our lights.
I feel like we
You
could.
are you saying that's the only embarrassing photo I can find of you? Because challenge accepted.
gonna say,
See,
you're showing
okay,
me
here's the
childhood
problem.
pictures.
They knew this was coming. They blindsided me this morning. Like, hey, we're gonna dig photos up. So
But you've had all day to fit.
all
to-
day. I mean, it's Sunday afternoon. You know what it is? There's nothing on my Instagram that I want to hide. We'll put it that way.
Same.
All
yeah.
right. All right.
There's even some cringy things, but I'm like, I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story. I'm all about the laughs.
Embrace the cringy. We all
Yeah.
got to go through it.
So I'm
Okay.
like, if this gonna make someone laugh, I'm about it.
Honestly. Yeah. Do it for the memes. Okay, guys. So here's what we're going to do. That was fun for me. It's fun to go down memory lane. We were talking about that
I love
earlier.
that.
But I'm here to make new memories, okay?
Ooh.
Here we are. So we just did this Psalms thing, right? We did that whole reading. We read 9 of those Psalms, and all of them were basically looking at how we have these ups. That's a down. We have these downs, and then we have ups, and then downs, and then ups. And those Psalms really echoed that and showed us that even in the downs and even in the ups, that we can still trust God and we can still have Him as our refuge, okay? That was kind of our idea behind those Psalms. And now we finished that up, and I was really thinking, what should we study? Like, where are we at right now? What is the season that we're all in? And it's kind of hard to define that season that all of us are in right now because it's different for everybody. You might be doing school on your computer, sitting where you are right now. You might be doing school in a classroom full of masks and shields and distance between everybody, and it's going to be weird. It's going to be strange. So all of us are entering into this environment that we don't really know how it's going to go. We don't really know what to expect. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was thinking, where can we go in the Bible that speaks to that? And truthfully, there's a lot of places in the Bible where this happens, that God's people are uprooted and they don't really know where they're at, but He always uses it. So what we're going to do, I mentioned this morning at church, if you were there / watching, we're going to look at the life of Joseph, who is pretty much the last half of the whole book of Genesis. Joseph is in there somewhere. So we're going to look at the life of Joseph. It's going to be really good. It's going to be different. I'm pretty confident you've never looked at a character study of Joseph quite like this one that we're preparing for. So I hope that's true. Joseph is a fascinating character, and his family is wacko and
How many can relate though?
yeah, honestly, like you
All
you
of us?
you could learn a lot about how to treat your siblings from these stories. Honestly, how to function as a family, because these people are like, they set the bar real low. They set the bar real low for how to treat your siblings. So What we're going to do now, I don't want to just jump in there without some context. So I watched the Bible Project video for this. Honestly, I watched it to be like, just to give myself like a fresh reminder. Genesis is a big, big book, okay? Lots goes on. And then I thought, and then I'll just explain it. But I can't explain it better than Bible Project. So we're going to actually watch it right now together. It's about 8 minutes long. It is very engaging, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So we're going to cue that Bible Project video right now.
The book of Genesis. In the first video, we saw how chapters 1 through 11 set up the basic storyline of the Bible. God has created all things, and he makes humans in his image to rule the world on his behalf. The humans choose sin and rebellion, and so the world spins out of control into violence and death, all leading up to the rebellion and scattering of the people in Babylon. And so the big question is, what is God going to do to rescue and redeem his world? Well, out of that scattering at Babylon, the author traces a genealogy of just one family that leads eventually to a man named Abram, later known as Abraham. And God's promise to Abraham at the beginning of chapter 12 opens up a whole new movement in the story. God calls Abraham to leave his home and go to the land of Canaan, which God says will become his one day. And in that land, God promises to make Abraham into a great nation, to make his name great, and to bless him. Now, these promises are connected back to earlier parts of the book. So Babylon had arrogantly tried to make a great name for itself, and that didn't go over very well. But God, in his generosity, is going to bestow a great name on this no-name guy, Abraham. And God's blessing of Abraham echoes all the way back to that original blessing God gave humanity in the beginning. So the question is, why is God going to bless Abraham and his family? And the last line of God's promise makes this clear. So that all the families of the earth will find God's blessing in you. Now, this is key for understanding the whole rest of the biblical story. God's plan is to rescue and bless his rebellious world through Abraham's family. And this is why the whole rest of the Old Testament story is just going to focus on this one family, eventually called the people of Israel. This is also why Israel will later be called a kingdom of priests at Mount Sinai. God wants to use them to show all of the other nations what he's like. And ultimately, this is the promise that gets picked up by the later biblical prophets and poets who say that its fulfillment will come through Israel's messianic king, whose reign will bring justice and peace to all of the nations. Now, at this point of the story, none of that's clear. You just have to keep reading and watch the promise develop. And so the rest of the book focuses on Abraham and his family. First, Abraham himself, then his son Isaac, and then his son Jacob, and then Jacob's 12 sons. And the stories about each generation, they're united by two main themes. So first, each generation of Abraham's family is marked by repeated failure. They just keep making really bad decisions that mess up their lives and that put God's promise in jeopardy. However, God remains faithful to them. He keeps rescuing them from themselves and reaffirming his commitment to bless them and bless the nations through them despite their failings. So the Abraham stories. God had promised Abraham a huge family, but on two different occasions, he's afraid for his life because other men are attracted to his wife, and so he denies that he's even married to her, which creates, of course, all of these problems. And not only that, Abraham and his wife Sarah, they can't have children, and so Sarah arranges for Abraham to sleep with one of their servant girls, which also creates all of these problems in the family. But each time, God bails Abraham out. And in chapters 15 and 17, God even formalizes his promise to Abraham with an official commitment called a covenant. This is a classic scene. God invites Abraham to look up at the night stars and to count them. And he says, that's how numerous your family's going to be. And despite all of the odds, having no kids and no way to have any at the moment, Abraham looks up in the sky and simply trusts God's promise. And God responds by entering into a covenant with Abraham, promising that he will become a father of many nations, that God's blessing may come to the whole world. God asks Abraham to mark his family with a sign of the covenant, circumcision of all the male boys in the family. This is a symbol to remind them that the fruitfulness of their family is a gift from God. And so Abraham has lots of kids eventually, and he dies at a good old age. Now, the Jacob stories play out these themes even more dramatically. From birth, Jacob lives up to the meaning of his name, which is deceiver. He cheats his brother Esau out of his inheritance and blessing, and he does it by deceiving his old blind father, no less, and then he just takes off. He goes on to take 4 wives, even though he really only loves one, Rachel, and this creates all of these rivalries in the family. The only thing that humbles Jacob is being deceived by his uncle Laban, who cheats him out of years of his life. The tables have finally turned. And so it's a humbled Jacob that returns to his homeland. And in a very strange story, Jacob ends up wrestling with God as he demands that God bless him. Some things never really change, do they? However, God honors his determination, and he passes Abraham's blessing on to him. And he renames Jacob as Israel, which means wrestles with God. Now, it's this last part of the book, the story of Jacob's sons, where all the themes come to a head. Jacob loves his second to youngest son, Joseph, more than any of the others, and he gives him this special jacket. And the 10 older sons come to hate Joseph, and so they kidnap him, and they plan to kill him, but instead they decide to just sell him into slavery in Egypt, where he ends up in prison. Talk about family failure. But God is with Joseph, and he orchestrates Joseph's release from prison, and Pharaoh ends up elevating Joseph to second in command over all of Egypt. And so Joseph saves the nation of Egypt during a famine, and he also ends up saving his brothers and his family from starving to death. And so once again, we can see the folly and the sin of Abraham's family is met with God's faithfulness, who subverts even the evil of the brothers into an occasion to save life. And this is actually what Joseph says right near the end of the book. He says to his brothers, "You all planned this for evil, but God planned it for good, to save many lives." Now, these words are strategically placed at the end of the book because they summarize not only the story of Joseph and his brothers, but the book as a whole. From Genesis 3 onward, humans keep acting selfishly and doing evil, but this God is not going to leave his world to its own devices. He remains faithful and determined to bless people despite their failures. You can see this especially in how that mysterious promise about the descendant of the woman gets developed throughout the book. So remember, Genesis 3, God promised that this wounded victor would come and crush the snake and defeat evil at its source. And the author then connects this promise directly to the line of Abraham. This is a part of how God's going to bring his blessing to the nations. Now, from Abraham, this promise gets connected to Judah, the 4th son of Jacob, and this is how. In an extremely important poem in chapter 49, in aging Jacob, he's on his deathbed, he wants to bless his 12 sons. And when he comes to Judah, Jacob predicts that Judah will become the tribe of Israel's royal leaders, and that one day a king will come who will command the obedience of all the nations and fulfill God's promise to restore the garden blessing to all of the world. And then after this, Jacob dies. And later, Joseph dies too. And the growing family remains in Egypt. And so the book of Genesis ends with all of these future hopes and promises left hanging and undeveloped. And it forces you to turn the page to see how it's all going to turn out. But for now, that's the book of Genesis.
Fantastic. Okay, so I know that's a long video, and a lot went through that video, but I think it's really helpful. The great thing about that is no matter what level you're at, it can be helpful. So I know that video, it started way back at Abraham, and then it ended way up by Joseph, which is a lot of time, a lot of chapters in Genesis, but it's really important to remember they're the same family, that God had chosen that family to be his people, and that he was going to raise a nation from that very family. And something to remember, something to notice, is that that family was by no means perfect. You probably saw some stuff in there and you thought, man, the Old Testament is weird and messed up. Like, you think the world's messed up today, you shouldn't be surprised by that. And the Old Testament is clear in that way. So we're going to look at those chapters, about 30 to pretty much the end. And those chapters are going to tell us this story of this guy Joseph, whose father is Jacob. And Jacob He wasn't the best dude either. He was actually called the deceiver at some point. So, not the best dude, but God had chosen them, and they did remain faithful, especially Joseph. And if you caught something in there, if you've been paying attention on Sunday mornings, there are a lot of parallels between these stories. Namely, that Joseph is taken to Egypt, just like Daniel is taken to Babylon. And not only are they there and they're faithful in their environments, but God actually raises them up and develops them, puts them in positions of leadership, and in a lot of ways they enact his own will there in the place where they really don't belong. So that's kind of my heart behind looking at Joseph in a place where he doesn't belong, a place he does not feel comfortable. They didn't have to wear face masks. They didn't have to be socially distanced, but we will in the fall, or at least for a little bit. So I thought that, this would be a good place to land. This would be a good place to look. Like, when we're in a place that's uncomfortable, we have no clue what's going on. We don't know what to expect every day, and every day might look a little different. How are we going to remain faithful? And we're going to look at Joseph and take his example. So I wrote down some little themes that we're going to be looking at. One is self-sacrifice, being able to surrender, to be able to listen to the Lord, and also be able to help other people. We're going to see that theme through these stories. Trusting in God's larger plan. Remember, this is a big family we're looking at over a long period of time. We're talking about generations here. Let's see, meant like a few generations going by here in this family. So we're going to look at God's larger plan, that even in the circumstance that we are living in right now, it's hard to see God's plan, but there is always a plan, okay? The next one, flexibility, surrender, being willing to let God kind of shake things up a bit. That's a term we've heard a lot, right, Becca? Shaking. So what do you think of when you hear that word, shaking, in the time we're living in right now?
In this time,
Yeah.
or just like,
Or at all?
well, I think shaking, and I think well, okay. So I took a geology class this summer,
Awesome.
and so we learned about just sediments and things like that. And she had this bottle of different types of sediment. If she ever saw this, she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she didn't learn anything," because I didn't. But they're a bottle of different types of sediments, and some of the sediments settle very quickly, and others don't. And so she shook it and came back 2 days later, and it still wasn't settled. And so when I think
wow.
shaking, I think of everything was very settled and compact, but you shook it and it was all cloudy and everything was everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was what I thought of.
That's super helpful because it does, when things change, it doesn't immediately get back to normal, which we are well aware of, right? All this happened
Yeah.
way back in March, and here we are, school's about to start. So that is awesome. So God's going to allow some shaking. He certainly allows shaking in these stories. You're going to be familiar with them. We're talking his brothers mug him and throw him in a pit, and then after they decide not to kill him, that is, they throw him in a pit, and then they see some guys come over the hill, so they're like, hey, let's just sell him to there because it's just a waste on us if we just throw him in this pit. So they want some profit. Again, siblings, kind of messed up.
Ugh, the worst.
Yeah, honestly, the worst. And so selling him to the pit. Then he's going to go to prison when he gets to Egypt, and then back, and it's all messed up. So we're going to look at this guy, and I think he's going to these stories are really going to be able to help us, and ultimately we're going to look at how to be faithful when things don't really make sense, and to walk around with that theme in mind. I've got the first two studies that we're going to do over the next 2 weeks, and basically they're going to be in question form. So the first one is, what about my dreams? What happened to my dreams? That's going to be in chapter 37. All of us had different plans for 2020. You've seen those memes all over the place,
Of pictures.
my plans, and then 2020. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All of us, plans changed this year, no doubt about it, for everybody. Everybody's impacted. I remember watching the TV early March, and the news guy said, this coronavirus will affect you. And I thought, no way. And then that Saturday was the first week we canceled church, canceled everything. So everything changes, plans change, and we're just going to ask the question, what about my dreams? What about the plans I had? What about the things I wanted to do? Why did those get taken away from me? Why didn't they happen in the way I wanted them to happen? We're going to look at that. And then also, the next week, we're going to ask the question, what about when everything seems to be going wrong? What about when everything seems off? That theme is super repetitive in the life of Joseph, because everything just seems to go wrong for him, even though he is doing the right things, even though he is remaining faithful, even though he does have integrity, everything seems to go wrong. So those are the first two things. Whatever happened to my dreams? And then two, what about when everything seems to go wrong? And then we're going to ask some more questions in the week following that. I'm excited to jump into this. I've never done a strict character study on Joseph. I think it's going to be really cool. So I hope you are engaged with it. We're going to have stuff on our website to help you kind of guide through this. And we are going to help you learn about Joseph, and we're going to take a lot away from it. I truly believe that. So, and then by the end of it, we will, we'll be a smarter people, and hopefully we know a little bit more, and hopefully we love the Lord a little bit more. That's always the goal. So hope you're engaged with it. It's going to be good. With that, I have nothing else to add. What we're asking of you, we're going to be doing stuff like this every Sunday night. We're a live video where I will be walking through these stories, but during the week, we'll be having questions for you, kind of supporting verses to help you with this story. So again, just like the Psalms reading we did, a lot of this is going to be on you. A lot of it is good training for you to own your own faith, to take the initiative, to be disciplined, and I think you will be much better for it. And, you know, it'll be a challenge, but we're here for you. We're going to walk through it with you. So I'm excited to do it. Any parting words, Becca?
I'm excited too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
I've never done a study on Joseph either, so.
I think we spend a lot of time in the first, 15 chapters of Genesis in church, because that's when Abraham is. And then everything before that is like creation and Noah's Ark. But we're going to get deep into the family of Israel, and it's going to be cool. And by the end of it, we're going to see, like, why are they called Israelites? Why are they God's chosen people? Like, what is this about? How did they become slaves in Egypt? Like, how did that happen? Because, like, Joseph was in charge in Egypt, right? We're going to see that. Like, he was just under Pharaoh. So how does he go from just second in command in the entire empire of Egypt to now they're slaves? And then we're going to have the Exodus. And so this is a big story. There's too many themes to follow, but we're going to look at some of them. So I hope you're excited with that. Have a great night. Boom. Love you guys. We will see you this week. Peace.